It's Tuesday, July 3. This is the news on PBCJ. I am Simone Absalom. Minister Dr. Andrew Wheatley has been stripped of the energy portfolio as the government implements a raft of changes to the controversy-plagued oil refinery, PetroJam. A statement yesterday from Cabinet indicates that the portfolio has been shifted to the Office of the Prime Minister. It says the move is in the interest of transparency in light of ongoing investigations. PetroJam is currently under investigation over allegations of corruption, fraud and mismanagement. The oil refinery's parent ministry is the Ministry of Science, Technology and Energy. With the shift in portfolio responsibility, Wheatley retains ministerial control of science and technology. Meanwhile, the statement from Cabinet also gave results of its consideration of a report it received last week on PetroJam and having regard to investigations already underway. Cabinet has decided the following. The residential status of all persons nominated to boards must be stated in the Cabinet submission seeking approval for appointment. Overseas travel of board chairmen or board members must receive prior approval of the minister. Public bodies will be prohibited from entering into sole source retainer contracts without the prior approval of Cabinet. Check out our Facebook page for the full statement. Caribbean Community CARICOM heads of government will gather this week in Jamaica for the 39th regular meeting. They will be tackling a number of critical issues that impact the economic and social advancement of the countries of the region. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who assumed chairman of the Conference of Heads of Government on July 1, will steer the meeting, which is scheduled to take place from July 4 to 6 at the Montego Bay Convention Center in St. James. About 200 foreign officials are expected to attend the meeting. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Kamina Johnson-Smith, gave us a rundown of some of the items on the agenda.
As has been agreed by heads in Haiti in February, we will be focusing a large portion of Thursday on the CSME, on implementation of the CSME, including focus on discussion on the CCRC, that is the CARICOM CARIFORUM Review Commission report, which had been commissioned by Prime Minister Holness and through the team led by former Prime Minister Golding and 18 commissioners. Those matters will be dealt with on Thursday, together with the CARICOM Crime and Security Strategy, disaster management and climate change, as well as the CARICOM results-based management system. These matters are expected to take up a great bit of time.
Other areas for discussion include the upcoming 2018 G20 summit in Buenos Aires, Argentina, which will be the first to be held in South America. Minister Johnson-Smith said that Jamaica's chairmanship will place particular focus on the CSME given the critical importance in facilitating the expansion of investment and trade in goods and services, as well as the free movement of people across the region.
It was also recognized, however, that matters of sovereignty and supranationality do impede the movement towards a single economy. And it is therefore our view that focus should be placed on the single market. This will be undoubtedly an interesting matter for heads to consider. In 2005 and in 2010, heads took decisions that there should be perhaps a pause placed on implementation of the E. And the position of the Jamaican government is that rather than have uncertainty around this major issue and have resources and time and institutions focused on implementing the single economy where there is no political will.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness is expected to address his colleague heads of the government on the report of the Commission to review Jamaica's relations within the CARICOM and CARIFORUM frameworks. The Police Federation says it's insistent that a better package be given to rank and file members of the constabulary is the main disagreement in ongoing wage negotiations with the government. the government has offered a 16% increase over 4-year wage for public sector workers, including members of the constabulary. The administration has insisted that the best offer it's able to make at this time. Police Federation Chairman Corporal Arlene McBean says the Federation is pressing for a better salary and a fringe benefits offer to its members, in particular police constables. Several major unions, including the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, the Bustamante Industrial Trade Union, the BITU, the National Workers Union, NWU, and the Jamaica Civil Service Association, the JCSA, have already inked the 16% increase over 4-year wage deal. In regional news, exploring new markets. That was the main focus of the Cuba Caribbean Business Forum last week. Richard Richards has the highlights.
The Cuban Caribbean Business Forum, hosted for 2 days in the Heredia Convention Center in the city of Santiago de Cuba, had the attendance of more than 500 representatives of 120 Cuban companies and also businessmen from 11 nations of the Caribbean region. This convention is an initiative entitled to explore new markets and to promote products and services so as to enhance sustainable commerce between the Caribbean countries and to strengthen social and cultural ties in this important geographical area. During the opening ceremony of this 2 days forum, Antonio Caricarte, First Deputy Minister of Foreign Trade and Investment in Cuba, stated that the regional commerce with the Great Caribbean in 2017 rose up to $3 billion. That's a 17% growth in relation to the previous year, 2016. Dr. June Summers, General Secretary of the Caribbean States Association, expressed her gratitude to the local authorities of Santiago de Cuba for their hospitality and well-organized meeting. Dr. Summers also expressed that the convention is a very important part to encourage and develop economic and social relations between our countries. Direct from Cuba, Richard Richards, Canal Caribe.
Scores of Barbadians were engaged in a 5-hour police standoff on Sunday over access to a fisheries complex and vowed not to hand over the keys to anyone. The complex has been serving as accommodation for officers since rebuilding works began following damages from the hurricane season last year. But the fisherfolk want to reopen for business and are calling for the police to vacate the complex. Here's more in this report.
And they told us that they were given instructions to retrieve the keys for the fisheries complex.
The MP said he was informed that the keys were to be handed over to the police, who would in turn hand them over to the Chief Fisheries Officer, Sherilyn Appleton, in Antigua.
So I asked the police, logistically, how is it going to be possible for us to continue to have access to the building if the keys will be taken to Antigua to Miss Upton? And clearly, that would not be doable. So we have said to the police, and I'm going on record as saying that I don't have the keys personally, but we're not handing over any keys to the police.
He explains the reason why this stance has been taken.
It's based on the fact that that is the nucleus of the council operation. Lobster season began today, and that is an $8 million industry that can be jeopardized if Barbuda Council cannot operate from that building in a normal way.
The Barbuda MP said they were told by the police that more officers would be arriving Monday, and if the keys are not retrieved, the officers will lock down the building and secure the area. This, he said, would be a very dangerous thing for Barbuda's economy. A council meeting was planned prior to this incident for Monday, and the Member of Parliament noted that the council will be willing to meet with the police hierarchy, who he was told would be arriving on Monday. Mr. Walker explained that the fisheries complex was designated for the meeting. However, another venue will have to be sought.
In sports, Regional cricket commentators have registered mixed reactions to the recent concluded Test series between West Indies and Sri Lanka. The Windies faltered in its bid to clinch the series against the visitors. We have more in this report from TV's Vinod Narani.
So normalizing Sri Lanka in the opening test by 226 runs at the Queen's Park Oval, the Windies couldn't go for the jugular and instead drew the three-game series 1-1 following their 4-wicket loss in the day-night match in Barbados. However, based on the Windies' poor results over the years, revered regional cricket analyst Fazil Mohammed is a satisfied man.
Overall, 1-1 is a good result for the West Indies because of Sri Lanka's better performances. They had only lost 1 of 7 test matches coming into this series. And the West Indies, we know about the very poor record, which has us now at number 9 in the test match ranking. But overall, I think the West Indies performed better than would have been expected. There were a number of factors for that. Better pitches, bouncier pitches, grassier pitches, but there are a number of other issues. But overall, I would say that the West Indies performed better than expected with a drawn series.
But former Windies opener Philo Wallace, now turned commentator, says it was a disappointing series with a few positives.
When you look at Windies' performances, you have to take out the individuals like Shannon Gabriel. I thought bowled wonderfully well, and when you see a guy like him who has been through a lot in his over the years with the injuries and obviously complaints about not being fit, he's really stood up the test of time against Sri Lanka. Jason Holder continues to do well as an all-rounder, but again his leadership is lacking that killer instinct. Shane Dowry is the man of the series. I think he deserved that. He batted wonderfully well in the series to be consistent with his scoring. For me, the series was not what West Indies wanted. We're still back at square one.
Based on that, Wallace doesn't expect the upcoming 2-game Test series against Bangladesh to be an easy one for the Caribbean side.
I think we need to be aware, first of all, that the Bangladesh batsmen are fearless now. With the T20 leagues around the world, the Bangladeshis have been travelling around the world playing a lot of T20 cricket. I find that they're very fearless. They take a lot more chances than when they first come into Test cricket, and they're confident.
Mohammed also expects Bangladesh to be very competitive, but gives the Windies the edge against the Tigers from the subcontinent.
And even though Bangladesh have improved considerably in this format of the game, they had test match victories over England and Australia, but both those wins were on their dry, flat, turning pitches in Bangladesh. I think we're going to see more of those green, grassy, bouncy tracks for those 2 remaining test matches. I think Bangladesh are going to struggle, but they will be very competitive. They are an improving team, but I think the West Indies might just hold the advantage in these 2 test matches coming up.
And that's the news. Thanks so much for making it PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom. Pleasant viewing.